But have you considered technologies or models like battery as a service, because that would bring down the cost even lower, and you're increasing the accessibility of the product. So
I'm a big believer in battery as a service. Logically, it makes all the sense. That in a sense you're going back to apples versus apples. You buy an ICE vehicle, pay for petrol every day. You buy an electric scooter,
pay for battery
every day. And in that scenario, the electric scooter will already be much cheaper than the ICE scooter. So let's say again I give you example of 90,000 rupees ka scooter hai. An electric scooter with the same kind of performance will cost you about 75,000 rupees. So you have saved 10-15% there. And battery as a fuel should cost you something like 1/3 or 1/4 of cost of petrol as a fuel, right? Because if you look at the whole life cycle and the charging cost, that's how it's modeled. And we're happy to tell you that I've already come out with battery as a service pilots are happening. So for our scooter Zulu, we are giving battery as a service at 1,000 rupees a month. Again, comparing it to petrol, if you assume 100 rupees a litre and 30 litres, that's 3,000, this is 1,000. And for e-Luna, it's 750 rupees a month.
Okay.
So we have already launched these ideas in the market, and we are working with tech companies who are providing the software platform to kind of book your plan, select your plan, and get billed. So essentially, it's like a financing product, right? At the back end is the financing. In the front end, we are calling it a subscription. So far, it has not really caught on, to be honest, because people are still have to be sold the whole idea. I think it has legs, especially for two-wheelers, because
the batteries are removable.
You don't need to remove battery, you're just financing it.
Okay,
so it's not battery swapping.
Without
this I'm talking about is a situation, a concept. There are many models of battery as a service. One is battery swapping, where you need to remove the battery. So you have let's say a battery swapping station. You go put in your discharge battery, you take a new battery and you run. That's one model, which according to me works better for B2B, like depots, delivery guys, where they are going to a particular place to pick up the load. For B2C, it's difficult to implement swapping because India is such a massive country. You will need thousands of swapping stations. Yes, only if a big daddy, like a big oil and gas company, Indian Oil, BPCL, or maybe a big daddy like Reliance decides to put thousands of crores in creating the infrastructure, then it will come up. Because as a customer, you want battery swapping stations everywhere. You can't say, there are 2 stations in Pune city. It means I have to drive 10 kilometers to find a station. That defeats the purpose. It should be within 1-2 kilometers from your home, like a petrol station is. So yes, it may come up for B2C, it may not. It depends on who decides to invest to create that infra. But the other way to do battery as a service is simply what I am saying, which is it's like a financing scheme. So the customer buys the vehicle upfront, right? Say you're a student, you buy a Zulu from us, it will cost you 69,000 rupees, very affordable. And then the battery you pay as a subscription. It's in your vehicle, you're charging it at home like you charge your other EVs, but you're paying for it as a monthly plan, like a mobile phone with the SIM card, right? So you buy the phone and you pay for the SIM as you use, but the SIM is in your phone. So it's just a pay-per-use model. So I think that's an easier way to implement battery as a service, where again it's exactly as a mobile and a SIM card. And I think that is something that I think will come up. There are already financiers who are partnering with us on that. I think it should catch on. It might take a little while because people have to understand the concept.
Education is again the part that's lacking here. Acha, the other thing is that a lot of India resides in the rural areas. How can e-mobility be filtered into rural areas? Because as of today, at least as a student, I don't see a lot of penetration happened in rural areas. How could you push that?
So as a part of Kinetic Green's vision of green mobility for the masses, as I told you, 50% of India is earning between 15 and 35,000 rupees. Similarly, 75% of India is living outside the metro and the tier 1 towns. They are living in the tier 2, tier 3 towns and into the villages, right? So if you really want to bring green mobility for the masses, you have to go deep, both demographically and geographically, right? So I'm very much committed to this cause, and I think it's going to come in a big way. Like you look at mobile phones, or look at use of digital, all kinds of digital platforms. Rural India is not anywhere behind, the urban India, and it's a large market. And also I think that in a smaller town or in a tehsil, saving that 3,000 rupees a month
is a big thing,
is a meaningful thing, because their earning potential is less compared to people in the big cities. And I think 3,000 rupees a month is a meaningful number for them to save, right, and to use it for bringing up their family, in so many ways. So I think they are more economy conscious to that extent. So I think the reason why so far it has not caught on, though India is now a electricity surplus country, that means almost there's an har ghar bijli. Okay, there may be some exceptions, but there is electricity that is there widely spread. And many places you have electricity, but you don't have fuel pumps, right? You have to go a long distance to get fuel. So we can reach people geographically. Roads are also getting better. So far it had not picked up, because as you rightly said, that the EVs which are being made, whether it's cars or two-wheelers, have been more made for the urban markets. It's been all about software platform and app and all of this. Yeah, but that's not what the rural customer needs. So I'm very happy to tell you that we have come up with India's first EV, which is made for not just the big cities, but also the small towns and rural areas. It's the e-Luna. We say that the e-Luna, E in e-Luna is for A, emotion, because it's the Luna emotion, which was a lot of people's first vehicle. B, it's for everyone. That means it is India's most affordable EV. I'll explain to you why soon. C, it is E for everywhere. It can be sold in big cities and small towns. Yes. D, it is for everything, because it is India's only versatile EV which can be used for personal use as well as commercial use. And E for economical, because it's again very easy on your pocket, even not only as a buying but running. And then the last E was electric, of course. So that should be the first E. So e-Luna, E is electric. It's an emotion. It's for everyone. It's for everywhere. It's for everything, and it's economical. So that's the e-Luna. So I'll tell you why it's suitable for the rural market, because it's India's only EV which has, let's say for example, 16-inch wheels. So it has big wheels. It has very high ground clearance. It has a chain transmission, unlike the normal scooters which have the hub motor. So if there's the puncture, then you have to remove the entire motor. Here it's a mid-mount motor with a chain, so like a motorcycle like you see everywhere. So mechanics everywhere know how to repair it. Then the e-Luna has space to carry things, so it can carry things in the middle, at the back. So very useful for rural markets that may want to move things to the city, like farmer to move his produce, or it's very versatile. Also all its aggregates are IP67, that means they are waterproof and dust proof. So in a rural area where there is much more dust, and there could be need for having robust attributes. And the last but not least, it has a dual steel chassis which is very strong, and carry 150 kgs of load, and it's priced at 69,000 rupees ex showroom. So if you look at most other electric two-wheelers in the country, in contrast, they cost between 1.2 lakhs to 1.6 lakhs. They have low ground clearance, they have a lot of plastic as opposed to steel body. There's no place to carry things other than in the front little bit, but behind no. It has small wheels, so not suitable for all terrains. It has hub motor, so not easy to repair. So these vehicles have been made for the urban audience. But e-Luna is made for an audience which appreciates its versatility, its ruggedness. So we have seen in the first, now we've sold about 6,000 Lunas in the last couple of months. We've just launched it on 26th of Jan. We have customers from everywhere. So my dealers in Karaikudi are selling, my dealers in Tunilvali are selling, my dealer in Barshi is selling, and it's getting great response at these Krishi Melas. We are showing the vehicle in Krishi Melas. So it is genuinely taking e-mobility to the rural areas. So more such products will come. More you will see mobility in rural markets.
And how do you see mobility and e-mobility in general evolving over the next 10 years? मतलब एक random prediction जो आपने देख पा रही हो कि अच्छा 10 years में this would be mobility. Is this shared mobility going to be big और कैसा होने वाला है?
So I have no doubt in my mind that transport is going green.
हाँ.
It's a mega trend, right? I mean, if you see globally, there's a energy transition that is happening. There's a great push for SDG goals and net zero across the world, and India is now a leader, and it's aiming to be a leader in the coming years. We can't be left behind. So there's going to be a great push in green overall. Transport contributes more than 1/3 of all emission. So there's a need to make transport green, which is electric, right? Secondly, so I think at a mega trend level, the world is going green, right? The ICE engine is struggling to cope up with every new emission standard. Now it's reached a point where it's बहुत डागडूजी हो गया, engines have become heavier, they have become less fuel efficient, so their cost is going up. And electric cost is coming down. So certainly that's one mega trend. Secondly, I think electric mobility is going to be very affordable to people. As we were talking, if you buy an electric vehicle without battery, it's already much cheaper, because there are less moving parts. It's like it's becoming, much easier to make also, much easier to maintain also. And battery as a fuel is going to be much cheaper than petrol as a fuel or a diesel as a fuel.
True.
And even if other ideas come up like hydrogen, fuel cell, it's going to be all in the same direction, which is cheaper. Green mobility. So it's going to be more affordable. So why should people buy something which is not affordable when there's something which is more affordable available? Third thing, I think the youth, right? I think that the generation above me, I recently spoke at one event where the audience was like 65, 70 years old, and they found this whole e-mobility very hard to comprehend, like the software platform, and we talked about battery as a service, they could not fathom it. Then they have this concern about charging infrastructure and range anxiety, they think it's very black box.
True.
But the younger people, they understand everything, for them in fact it's like a tablet on wheels. They completely understand what it means to have a digital platform, to order, get your updates on the air, to subscribe to a battery plan. So for them it's very intuitive, right? I mean, and they enjoy, and I've seen that they enjoy this experience of electric mobility because the vehicle is not vibrating, it's not making noise, it's not having emission, and also the young youth is very much concerned about the environment. They want to buy brands which are green. They look at the brand's promise. So I think the world is changing, the youth is changing. They certainly will find electric vehicles to be much more intuitive and much more in line with their values, ethos, and also the way to use it. It's like, what is an EV? EV is like a tablet on wheels, as I told you, right? It's much more electronics and software than it is mechanical, and the ride is also a lot of fun. So I think the young generation will adopt this technology, which is futuristic, which is truly green, which is truly affordable, it is truly maintenance free. There's no spark plug, there is no oil to be changed,
True.
It's like you're having another machine, rather than
charge karna चलाओ जहाँ
बस exactly. For them it's very easy to understand कि हाँ ठीक है fast charger लगा दिया उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है. So I think it's intuitive to them. So I think therefore I have no doubt in my mind that the world is moving towards this new technology, which is green, more effective, more efficient, cheaper, more easy to integrate in a whole multimodal transport ecosystem that is evolving. So I think that's the trend. It's the question no more of if and why EV, but when and how EV, so I'm very bullish that that's the trend. There may be some nuances to it, like for example, the light mobility will be green, electric, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, golf carts. For them, all electric makes all the sense because you can easily afford to give a battery which runs 100 kilometers in a day. You go home and you charge it. You need a simple plug. You don't even need a charging infra.
True.
So it's very easy to adopt to electric mobility. You might come up with newer chemistries, that lengthen the life also, make the charging faster also. So it will just become easier. For the larger vehicles like the trucks, long range trucks, it could be hydrogen, it could be something else because otherwise you need a charging infrastructure on the highways. So that is a nuance of it, but it is green, there is no doubt.
Sure. Also, to wrap it up now, what are the things, if you could just have your experience into one line for a person who is wishing to join the e-mobility sector, what would you tell him?
So I would say that I'll say a couple of things, right? One is that my grandfather, who's my hero, he told me that, look, if you want to succeed in whatever you do, it should be aligned with the way the society is moving. If you align your thought or business idea to the trend of the society, you are half guaranteed of success.
True.
That means, for example, if everybody is moving to mobile phones, and if you invest in something with landline or answering machine, it is going to fail. You have to move in line with the trend of digital smartphones. For example, I'll give you an example. So first is that, which way the world is going, right? So I think, and that's where I also picked up my e-mobility vision, because that's where the world is going. So I think that first is that, any new idea that comes, we need first to see if it's aligned with the way where the world is going. Like I talked about the youth, they are the future customers, not the 50, 60-year-olds.
True.
Which way they doing, what are they trying, how are they using other products, other services. So I think these can give a lot of insights, right? That's one thing I will say. Second thing I will say that, in automobile world was very set for 5-6 decades, last 50-60 years. Once the internal combustion engine came, it was very set. Few companies became very big, they gobbled up other companies around the world. It became a scale game, right? Because if you have many products, many platforms, and your buying is efficient, you are investing thousands of millions of dollars into new factories. They had the supply chain set up. There was no room for anybody to enter. True. It was all like set. But e-mobility is changing it all, right? So I think first of all, there is great room for innovation and entrepreneurship in this sector today because of e-mobility.
True.
It was not the case before. So there are many opportunities. There are opportunities for entrepreneurship. There are opportunities for also coming up with EV skills to be a sought after professionals in any company, EV company. And EV is not only EV vehicles. So we are just one part of the whole EV ecosystem, right?
Yes.
We make vehicles, but along the way there are supply chain is there. Then there is financing. There's
a whole ripple
charging,
effect that's created.
There is the battery recycling or second use recycling. There is also the whole e-mobility, like deployment, fleet management, shared mobility. There are so many. There is battery technology. There are so many opportunities because it's a whole new ecosystem.
True.
That is evolving. It's not just the vehicle is changing, but every way you make the vehicle, you use the vehicle, everything is changing, right? The way you finance the vehicle. So there are many opportunities, and if you want to be a professional, there is going to be shortage of EV skills for sure. So certainly, build your portfolio around EV skills, and you will be a sought after professional. I would say for women, actually the whole world, and I am a big proponent of this, is seeing that EV is one way where more and more women will now come into automobile sector.
Okay. Not
only as a finance or a marketing or a HR person, but in the core of it, in designing and making of the product. For example, our controller manufacturing company within the group, Kinetic Communications, has 100% women on the shop floor.
Okay.
And it's an electronic component. You don't need, women are just as good, if not better, because it's very diligent and sincere, detail-oriented work with you need to be dexterous, right? In our motor manufacturing company, we have 100% women on the shop floor.
Okay.
In our EV assembly facility for two-wheelers, we have now 50% women on the shop floor. And we are not the only company who's doing that. There are other electric two-wheeler and three-wheeler, four-wheeler companies which are putting women on the shop floor. So I think it's one way that women are entering the very much male-dominated automobile sector. So definitely new opportunities for women as well. But again, EV is more software and electronics than mechanical.
Yes.
Right? And the third thing I would say is that for entrepreneurs also, as I said before, everything is changing. There are many opportunities. I would urge them to study, talk to people, network, I would urge them to come up with innovative ideas, because it no longer has to be a scale game. You could also deploy an EV module in a small town. For example, we have these fleet operators. I'm just giving an example that now everybody is ordering things online, right? I mean, not only vehicles, but even the way we consume things are changing. So we have a company in Jaipur. They have bought 500 Lunas from us, and he set up a small fleet company which is with e-Lunas. They are doing work for Swiggy, Zomato, Big Basket, Amazon as delivery partners. And because the e-Luna is electric and it is the most affordable, it's just 10 paisa per 100 kilometers. The most affordable. So the money that they take, they can earn much more. There's no petrol cost. They set up a whole model using EVs as a delivery vehicle. But he's become a fleet operator. So there could be many such opportunities that can come up. And you can be successful because the new ecosystem is evolving. So I think there are many opportunities for entrepreneurs, for professionals, for women. EV is just one big disruption. In the end, you're doing good by being good, right? You are helping the planet as well, and you're building a career. So I think it's all good.
Certainly. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having us. Thank you for sharing your time on a busy day and having so many insights, especially the last answer. I think it opened a lot of tangents for the audience.
No, I'm very happy to be on this chat, Aditya, because you're a student and you're doing this out of passion. And I think passion is highly underrated. I think it's the most important attribute for a happy and purposeful life. And I'm very happy that I could be part of your passionate venture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.